It's Monday, August 19th, 2024, and this is episode 316 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. I'm Mark Duvall.
And I'm Dr. Mike.
Dr. Mike, you're back from your not quite cross-country trip?
Yep. Left here in Minnesota, went to San Diego, came back to Minnesota.
All right. Tell us.
Made quite a few stops on the way.
Tell us everything that happened.
Well, let's see. We left here. We stayed our first night in Nebraska. Nothing really to report from there.
No casinos where you stayed?
No. And, we could have stayed right on the Iowa-Nebraska border is a casino. But I don't know why. I just didn't even think about it. We just stayed in the middle of Nebraska.
Okay. All right.
And then from there, the next night, we spent in Utah. We drove through Nebraska and all of Colorado and stayed in Utah. And I don't know why we didn't stay in Blackhawk once again. Just an oversight.
Geez, this trip's starting out terribly, Mike.
Yeah, it is. But from there, the next morning, we left and went to Vegas.
Okay.
It was good. We stayed at Caesar's Palace. The rooms were great. And everything was nice. The dealers actually were pretty friendly.
That's good.
Yeah. Didn't really have any luck there,
Yeah.
but the dealers were nice. And
Good.
our good friend Jim from New York came by. And
Oh, yeah. Gosh, Mike, I mean, have you seen him since?
No, I have not seen him.
Yeah, I haven't seen him since we originally met him in Atlantic City early in our podcasting days. One of the first listeners we met.
Yeah. And he walked up and said, "Hey, Dr. Mike." And I'm looking at him like, "Who's this?" And then, he said, "It's Jim from New York." Oh, Jim. Yeah. As soon as he said that, I knew immediately,
Yeah.
The voice and the face and everything. But hair was a little bit longer than it used to be. And I didn't really,
it's been like 10 years, something like that, right? So
over. Yeah, maybe. Anyway, we had a good time. But yeah, the roles didn't cooperate really.
Yeah.
The only thing that I guess was a negative is my wife and daughter and her boyfriend ate at the Gordon Ramsay facility. There used to be like
it's like a bar and grill?
Yeah, like a bar and grill, like pub dining or something.
Right there by the stinky bathrooms.
Yep, right by the stinky bathrooms.
Yeah.
And we've eaten there before and they kind of liked it.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
But when they went there, they found out they had revamped the menu.
Okay.
And so things weren't exactly the same. Like they didn't have the shepherd's pie anymore, which my wife really liked. And the prices went way up. And their server was terrible, absolutely terrible. Once they were in their seats, they sat for a half hour before anyone came by. That's a long time to sit, before anyone even checks, like, "Can I get you water?"
Yeah.
And then they said he was kind of rude and kind of a little distant when he did come by, and just things were not good. The food was okay. They all said the food was okay, but it was just really expensive and the service was just absolutely terrible.
It's too bad.
But other than that, everything else went fine. So then we checked out that was Thursday morning, I believe, and we drove to San Diego.
Yeah.
And we experienced the one thing that I do not miss about Southern California.
The weather?
The traffic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The weather was okay. The traffic was unbearable, Mark. Where
did you hit a lot of traffic leaving Las Vegas?
We hit some leaving Las Vegas. It wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
We hit most of the traffic when we got down into Riverside. Riverside, San Bernardino, all the way into San Diego was just a nightmare. Anyway, that was fine. And then, let's see, was it Friday afternoon? You and I and Sherry went to the casinos.
Yeah, picked you up just a little bit after noon and made a day of it.
Yeah, we went to Hamul for a little bit.
Yeah, Hamul worked out pretty well for you because even though my comps have all dried up, there was nothing.
I had some money.
You had some food credit. You had some cash. Not just free play, but actual cash that you got.
Right, $75 cash.
Yeah, so that worked out well.
And the gambling wasn't great, but it was okay.
No, nothing really to speak of. There was something interesting, though, that happened there.
Oh, yeah.
There was a guy at the table who is a regular. I've seen him there before.
Yeah. Everyone seemed to know him.
Yeah,
so.
And everybody seemed to know him, but everybody's like, oh, boy. Here he comes.
Right.
So at one point in the middle of a roll, at least to me, it seemed like what he wanted to do was make two bets, a $2,500 no 4 and a $2,500 no 10. Basically, those are bets that a 7 will come up before a 4 and that a 7 will come up before a 10.
Right.
And we were at the other side of the table. So I don't know what was going on, but the dealers seemed just flummoxed at this request.
Well, and he kept pulling out money.
Mike, how many times did he pull out money and buy in before the dice were even sent? I mean, I've never seen the game held up this long for a non-come out roll.
It must have been 15 minutes, Mark.
And he bought in about 5 times during that whole time. I'm not exaggerating, right? Yeah. He would be saying, okay, here's what I want to do. And then he'd pull out more money and flip, a few hundreds out there.
I'm wondering, and we couldn't quite hear everything that was going on, but I was wondering if at first he was going to put like 1,000 on each one, and then he decided more, and then he decided more because he kept pulling out money. Wouldn't he have pulled out $5,000 right off the bat?
I don't know if he'd given them chips ahead of time, but it seemed like the dealers were pretty confused too. There was certainly a lot of discussion about, what do we charge him for VIG? Because you got to pay the VIG up front.
And that's so easy to figure out. I don't know what that was about.
Yeah.
If he was arguing with them or if they couldn't figure it out. I don't know.
It seemed like there was some argument going on, but English wasn't his first language. So, there was maybe some miscommunication there, but I've never seen a game take this long just waiting for one and I've certainly never seen somebody buy in 5 separate times.
Yeah, and then some guy started booing him.
Yeah, somebody did. I can't remember. And I was kind of surprised when the guy started booing that a lot of the players on our side of the table also started
booing. Yeah. I mean, 15 minutes.
Everybody at the table is angry.
Uh-huh.
And, we were just hoping, come on 4, come on 10. And of course we all could have called our bets off. But sure enough, once the dice were sent, 7 out, the guy made his $2,500, $1,250 win on each one.
Yeah, he made $2,500. He picked up his chips.
Mm-hmm.
And then he picks up from underneath the table this huge bag of food.
Yeah, he'd used his comps, obviously, to get a ton of food.
So here's a guy willing to risk $5,000 on basically a throw of the dice because 4 or 10 could have came up. But he still gets all this casino food to take home.
Sounds like somebody I know, Dr. Mike.
Yeah, really. Anyway, he gets all of his food. He heads for the thing. And a couple of the players who were there who know him said, oh, yeah, he'll be back. It'll be about 30 minutes, 40 minutes. He'll be back.
He's going to go to his car, eat all his food, and then come back.
Yeah, he's going to take his food home and then come back.
So
the other weird thing that really bugged me, Mark, is if you're going to make this $5,000 bet, get the money out. Or have chips already. He didn't have any chips.
This apparently
just the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
This is his modus operandi, right? This is apparently what he does every time.
Yeah.
It's always some kind of confusion. No, I want this. No, I want this. No, here, more money, more chips.
I honestly, if I was pit boss there, I would have just came over and said, no bet.
Well, I mean,
when they come out, if you want to buy in some chips, make your bets. But I know it's a lot of money.
Money talks, thinking, Mike. That's what it comes down to.
That's what it comes down to. But, it's not worth the hassle. And all the other players, a full table, all the other players are kind of pissed off because who wants to sit there 15 minutes while this guy tries to make a bet? And it was in the middle of a pretty good roll.
Yeah. So we left, not right after that guy, but, things weren't going very well in general.
Yeah, after that, it got worse.
Yeah, we went and headed over to Sequan, which is about 20 minutes away. And
now, that's a much nicer experience as far as, it wasn't crowded. And
I agree. It's not as crowded. It's not as cramped. Hamul has to kind of cram all their stuff in there because they have such a small footprint. Sequan is much more spread out. Yeah, there's always room at the craps table, at least when I go. It's only 5 times odds as opposed to 10 times odds at Hamul. But I think it's a more enjoyable experience. And they're the ones who are now continuing to comp me stuff. So that's where I go.
Yeah, and it the dice were up and down, up and down,
Yeah,
up and
that's
down.
how it went.
Now, but it wasn't a bad experience. So.
I have my thing. What I do at the craps tables in California is I look at the dice when they're rolled, and then I either yell out safe or I just quietly say no. And safe means it's not a 7, and no means it is a 7. And of course, the dice determine what cards are flipped over. And so then I know what combination on the dice will result in a 7. And I think in general, people get a kick out of it, especially when it's a good roll. And they're just hoping, safe. Oh, good, Mark.
Yeah.
Safe. Yeah, so safe.
I think they like that more than looking at the dice. They like, is he going to say safe?
So this one couple next to us, they were getting kind of a kick out of it. And a bit later on, like 10 or 15 minutes later on, the woman says, oh, what do you have there? She looked at the cards that I have. They're my cheat sheet, right? I printed up all these cards. Anybody who's played with me has seen
combinations.
So I know what 3 combinations on the dice will result in a 7. So that's how I know. And so I said, oh, yeah, it's just my cheat sheet. And the woman said, oh, so that's how you know when to say safe. We just thought you were some kind of savant. And Mike immediately says, no, he's just an idiot.
That lady, yeah. We bring this savant with us who yells out safe. It doesn't really help us at all as far as winning.
Yeah, that's right.
Change anything, but we just like to hear him say safe.
Yeah, no, he's no Rain Man. He's just an idiot.
Yeah.
No savant, just the idiot part. One more thing that happened there when we were at Sequan, one of the shooters rolled 4 hard 6s in a row. On the dice.
Yeah, on the dice.
So the rolls weren't actually hard 6s. They had to be translated by the cards. Turned out to be 4 2s in a row.
2, yeah. Which helps nobody, right?
Right. Nobody was on
the hard way. People don't win. No one on high low.
Yeah, we had money on the 6. That would have been 4 6s. We would have won in a roll.
Right.
Anyway, there you go. So,
funny?
Have you seen 4 hard 6s rolled in a row?
I have.
Sort of.
You rolled them.
Oh, that's right. I did have. I think that was just 3, though, wasn't it, Mike? At Harrah's?
I want to say it was 4.
All right.
But
maybe it was. Jim from New York. The great thing about Jim, he's got such a great memory. He probably knows when we told that story about me rolling those hard ways in a row.
Yeah.
So he'll probably correct us.
He'll check on that. Yeah. He's the savant. He's our savant.
Boy, oh my gosh. I trust him to check me. When I say something, especially when it's something from the past, from a previous episode, or just, I trust him to correct me. I always.
Well, he can sit there and say, yeah, on episode 221, Mark said blah, blah, blah. I'm like, how do you remember all this? I'm there for them all, and I don't remember past today.
Yeah, he's great with that. So
yeah,
but yeah, that's basically all really we have to say about you and I gambling together. Unfortunately, no big rolls. We ended up losing. Really, nothing more to tell. But what happened when you started heading back home, Dr. Mike?
Well, we left on Sunday, and our first stop was in New Mexico, Albuquerque.
Mm-hmm.
We passed by a ton of casinos in New Mexico.
Yeah.
But nothing that, they all look like small Indian casinos, maybe.
Okay, so nothing that you warranted a stop.
We didn't pull over, so we were in a hurry to get to Albuquerque.
Sure.
Spent the night in Albuquerque, and then the next night, we went to Wichita Falls, Texas. We visited our friend Paul.
Yeah, that he moved there. Yep, this last year.
We had dinner with him, and then we had breakfast with him the next morning.
Any casinos?
Kind of hung out. No.
Yeah.
By the time we got to Paul's house and everything, it was like 7:30.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, well, we got to eat dinner, and then that was over, and Paul wanted to hang out more and talk and stuff, and I'm like, man, Paul, it's like 9:30. I got to go to bed. We got to drive another, 8 hours tomorrow.
Okay, so I'm not surprised. I would have been surprised if you'd found time to go to the casino.
Yeah, it just was a time thing. Yeah. Otherwise, I would have liked to have seen at least a little bit of the Oklahoma casinos.
Yeah.
But then the next day we went to Tunica, Mississippi.
Yeah.
And we stayed at the Horseshoe there. That was good.
Good.
Yeah, I won a little bit. I actually enjoyed that place quite a bit. Now, it's right next door to the Gold Strike.
Oh, yeah. One of our listeners said that was really nice.
Yeah, they kind of share a parking lot, so to speak. I mean, the outside parking lot.
Uh-huh.
I didn't get a chance to go over there because we checked in. Once again, it's like, 6:30 or something. And I'm like, okay, I want to start playing.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, it's like 1 a.m. And I was like, I got to go to bed. We got to drive tomorrow again.
Yeah.
But I had a good time playing there. It was nice. I mean, I kind of liked it. The casino, I thought, was fine. Our rooms were certainly fine. Not lavish or anything, but they were good.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't check out any of the others, although I saw signs for them all.
Sure.
It does seem to me, at least from my experience in the Horseshoe there, that Tunica is not the most happening place.
Yeah, I've kind of heard that it's dying a little bit. So, yeah.
Well, it was a Tuesday night.
Sure.
So it's not like I was there on the weekend, but it didn't seem real crowded or anything.
Yeah.
The next morning, Wednesday morning, we got up and we drove to St. Louis.
Yeah.
Well, we left Tunica and we actually went to Memphis, Tennessee, which is right there. I mean, it's just down the road a ways, to see Graceland.
Right.
And Graceland was excellent.
Good.
I really liked it. My wife likes Elvis, and I kind of liked Elvis too.
Mm-hmm.
But, I thought, I don't want to go through someone's house and, all this stuff. But I really enjoyed it. Once I did it, I was happy. There was a lot to see, and it was very interesting.
Good.
I mean, you could spend a whole day there.
Sure.
And then we went to St. Louis. Now, we got into St. Louis a little late because we spent more time at Graceland than we thought we would. So we didn't get there till, it was 8 or 8:30 before, we checked in and got on a table.
Mm-hmm.
But immediately when I got to the table, one of our listeners, John, walked up. He was a real nice guy. He brought me a hat, Mark.
Oh, nice. What kind of hat?
The St. Louis Cardinals.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah, it's really sharp.
Good
too.
baseball town.
Yeah, and I really liked the hat. It was really kind of cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, John, for that. That was nice. You really didn't have to do that. They only had one table. They have two tables. One was closed. They had one table. It was $10, and it was crapless.
Mm-hmm.
John and I were playing, and the box person was this lady whose name is Yvette. She was the biggest sourpuss.
Really?
Oh my gosh, Mark. I don't think she ever smiled. And I mean, she wasn't rude per se. She just seemed like, somebody who, I hate this job, kind of thing.
Wow.
Yeah, she just didn't give off good vibes. The dealers were okay. Oh, one thing I should mention, I noticed this in Tunica and in St. Louis. The dealers occasionally would say thank you for a tip, but not all the time.
Okay.
And it was kind of funny because I was, tipping on every roll, putting numbers up for them and things. And when they'd win, sometimes I'd get thank you. And then sometimes nothing. I just noticed that at those two places, because like in San Diego or even in Vegas, as soon as they collect, thank you,
Oh, win or lose.
Gosh,
it's Saquon and Hamul for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, here it was like really, I was like, am I doing something wrong? I was like, almost like, I don't know if they were shocked to get a tip or they just, get so many, but nobody else was tipping on the table.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, the gambling in St. Louis went pretty good. Craig, another listener, showed up whose wife was out of town, but he left his 9-year-old home with his 13-year-old so he could come into the casino.
All right, well, 13, that's mature enough for a babysitter. I was worried that you were just going to say 9-year-old, and it's like, well, that's a little rough.
He left his 9-year-old in charge of the 4-year-old. No, it was his 13-year-old daughter who was taking care of his
13-year-old daughter.
boy.
That's good. Okay.
Yeah, and I was laughing. It's like, oh, you're the perfect gambler. Yeah, wife's out of town. Kids are fine. I'll go gambling. But no, he was there for a short time, but he was a very nice guy. We had fun. And anyway, about 11:15, the pit lady Yvette says, okay, the table's closing at 11:30.
And
I'm like, what? And she's like, 11:30, we're done. And some other guy there who looked like a local, he said something like, oh, you going to open the other table? No, this one's just closing, or no more craps after 11:30. And I asked her why. And she said, oh, we just don't have staff and these guys are off and we don't want to pay them overtime. And so there's just no craps after 11:30. And I'm like, oh, okay. At that point, I was down and I was thinking, oh, great. So I had 45 minutes. Turns out in that 45 minutes, there were only like 2 more shooters.
Oh, well, that's good.
And they both had excellent rolls.
Yeah.
One guy hit a half of the all tall, all small and just roll after roll, lots of rolls. So I was starting off with small bets, but then, I got them pumped up there. I got some pretty large bets out there at the end, but ended up winning for the night because of that. Had they not closed the table, I probably wouldn't have been so aggressive because, I was making small bets and then just press.
I don't have much time. So what exactly happened at 11:30? I mean, was somebody in the middle of a roll or how did it end?
Yeah. No, it ended when they sevened out, but that was like 11:34 or 35 or something. Okay. They went a few minutes past. I asked her about that. I said, are you just at 11:30 going to stop? She said, no, we'll finish the roll.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So then John was hanging out around the table and he went to play some slots. And then I said, oh, she's closing at 11:30. He says, yeah, I'm watching. I'll hang around here. But then when it ended, I couldn't find him. I walked around for a while and never found him again. And then I was walking to the bathroom because I had to really go. I'm pretty tired as I've been doing all this driving across country and stuff. And I kind of twisted my right ankle a little. So it was right by this machine. So I said, well, I'll just sit here for a while until my ankle feels a little better. And it was one of those. It's something to do with a pig.
Little piggies.
Little piggies. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, you build up the piggies until they explode.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I sat down there and ended up winning like $400 playing that.
Good.
Yeah. It was fun too. It was addictive.
Yeah.
Now my ankle felt better. I went ahead and went to the bathroom and went up to the room. Yeah, it was okay. I kind of like Tunica more than I did St. Louis. St. Louis wouldn't be something I'd go out of my way to go to.
Yeah, that's kind of the feeling I got when listeners were asking about, when they could meet up with you. Okay.
Yeah, it just didn't sit that well with me. Not that it was a terrible experience. It just was very mediocre, I thought.
Yeah.
So anyway, then after the next morning, we left St. Louis and we drove back here. And then Saturday, I went to Diamond Joe Worth in Iowa.
Yeah.
So let's see. I was in Diamond Joe, St. Louis, Tunica, San Diego, Las Vegas. So casinos in California, Nevada, Mississippi, Missouri, and Iowa.
Within
a few days.
Week and a half.
Yeah. Yeah, a week and a half. And that's it. We're back, and then I'm just waiting for school to start.
All right. Very good. Any plans right now to return to San Diego?
Not at the present.
Okay.
But possibly in November.
Okay. And you still have Zorkfest penciled in, correct, for Vegas?
I have Zorkfest penciled in now. Once I get into the school year, I'll make sure that that's going to work out. Okay. But I think it will.
All right. Very good. Well, we got an email from listener Brock. He says, nowadays, going to casino ends up being a quick trip with wife with only $100 bankroll. Goal is to lose it all or double it or more. From a craps standpoint, how would you or Dr. Mike bet that? All on one roll? Hard ways? Field? Pass or don't pass over multiple rolls? Just want to have some quick excitement. Look forward to your response. Why don't you go ahead and go first, Mike?
Well, if you've only got $100 and you don't care if it goes quickly, I might just cash that 100 in for $5 and play roulette.
For $5 chips, you say?
And yeah, $5 chips. Just maybe put it on the same, do like 4 at a time.
Oh, single numbers, like 4 single numbers.
Just 4 single numbers and,
$20 each time. Oh, okay. Yeah.
That would be fun. And if it hit just one of them once, you'd get, $150? So you'd get your money and put that back in your pocket because then you made some profit. And hopefully that one that hits is one of the first 4 or second 4. And then you have all the others if you get a hit, And it might be fun. The other way I would do it, me personally, is, I'd probably just put $25 on all the hard ways.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
on some person's roll and just, hope a hard 8 or hard 6 comes up or something. Kind of depend. I mean, it's an odd question just because most people aren't going to, oh, I have $100 here. I'm just going to blow it all and either go home right away or whatever.
Yeah, it really depends on what Brock wants to do. It sounds like he just wants, quick excitement, right? So he doesn't need to play for a long time. I'll tell you what, Brock, if doubling your money is your goal, really the best thing is to just put the entire $100 on one bet, on the don't pass. Now, of course, you're going to lose the entire 100 more often than you're going to win. But again, it depends on what you want to do.
I'd put it on the pass line, Mark.
It doesn't matter. I mean,
if 7 comes up on the first roll on the pass line, you win, right?
Yeah.
You doubled your money, you can walk away. 11 comes up, you win. 2, 3, 12, you're going to lose, but you still have a better chance of 7 or an 11 coming up. And then if, a point's established, like a 6 or something, you still have a chance to win too if they make the point.
Yeah.
You basically would just be hoping for a 7, right, on the come out.
Yeah.
And then you would double your money. And if you really just wanted to double your money and leave, that'd be the way to do it. I don't know how exciting that is.
No, I agree. But I can't believe that you're, trying to convince me that betting the pass line is better than the don't pass because of everything you've just said. The don't pass is mathematically better. Yes, it's a small amount, but what's your argument?
It's just I don't know. You're going against everybody else on the table.
Okay, well, that I'll accept as an answer.
Yeah, it'd just be funner to be with everybody.
All right.
I mean, you could do the same thing on blackjack. You could just go put $100 on a hand of blackjack.
Yeah, you could, but I don't like doing that again because you might end up with a double down or a split situation, and then you'd have to deviate from basic strategy. And
you get yourself into some sticky situations.
Right. So, I would suggest that, or, betting the player in Baccarat, or if it's a no collection Baccarat, betting the bank. Anyway, we're making this a long answer, but if your goal is really to double your money, just put it down on one bet, if that will be exciting enough for you.
Right. Well, one good thing about craps, though, is your bet may not be determined on the first roll.
Right. That's true.
So you do have a little bit of excitement there in that it might take 4 or 5 rolls before your bet either wins or loses.
Yes.
Or more. So, I mean, in a way that is exciting as opposed to, like roulette, if you just put 100 on one number, it's just one spin and you either won or lost.
Well, I'm thinking of doubling money, so I wouldn't put $100 on one number.
No,
because there are too many times where you're going to go home broke. I would put it on, red or black or any of the even payouts. Right. Yeah, I would want to be there longer. So, I'd break mine up into nickels. Yeah, again, it's right. It depends on exactly what we're going to do. So, anyway, I think it's time for us to move on. Hey, Mike, I can't believe it. We're coming up on our poker tournament, our 9th semi-annual You Can Bet on That poker tournament. It's going to be the Sunday before the NFL season starts. That is Sunday, September 1st, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So figure out where you live and adjust accordingly.
So that's going to be noon for me.
Yep, it'll be 10 a.m. for me.
And if you're in Colorado, 11 a.m.
Oh, my gosh. Don't confuse it. Just figure out where you live and then go by that. Hey, a reminder, you don't need to register early for the tournament. There isn't a limit on the number of players who can play. And the reason we mention this is because in the past, we've had a lot of players who have registered for the tournament and end up not showing up. But they're still taking up a seat.
Things come up.
Yeah, I understand. Right. Yeah. And even though they'll just be blinded off, it affects the way players who do show up play. And people, thank you, it's getting better. Every time we mention this, it is getting better and we don't have as many no-shows. So you can register anytime before the tournament starts. In fact, you can even register up until 20 minutes after the tournament starts. So no reason to register early if you're not sure you're going to play. And if you do register for the tournament and it ends up you can't play, please unregister. Same as always, $20,000 play money chips to register, and PokerStars gives you $15,000 chips every 4 hours All you have to do is click on the free chips button on the PokerStars homepage. It's no limit Texas Hold'em as always. We'll have 3,000 in starting stacks. We will have hourly breaks. If you're already in our PokerStars home games group, you can sign up for the tournament as soon as I post it. If you're not yet in our group, send us an email at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com with your email address and your PokerStars username. If you don't have a PokerStars username, just go to pokerstars.net, download the app, and sign up. It doesn't cost anything, and again, we'll be using their Play Money tournament option. First place will get a $100 Amazon gift card. Second place, a $50 card. Third place, a $25 card. And Dr. Mike, our good friend Ed O'Connor, gave us a donation that he said he would like us to use as prizes for our tournament in memory of our fathers, who both passed away this year.
Oh, that's very nice.
Thank you, Ed. I think maybe what we'll do is we'll add that to the bounty on you and me. So whoever takes out Dr. Mike will get a $50 gift card, and whoever takes out me will get a $50 gift card. What do you think about that?
I like it.
Okay.
I like it. I mean, I'm easy pickings. I'm low fruit for whoever.
Everyone knows.
They have to work at a little bit.
Yeah, I came in second once.
One of these days I'm going to win it. And
I hope so, Mike. Yeah, I hope so much, Mike. So if you go the whole way, it'll probably take about 4 hours. And then even though our next episode will drop the day after the tournament, we'll probably record the day before the tournament. So we won't have results. So it'll be 4 weeks until you get to hear the results of the tournament from when this episode drops. So I hope to see you at the tournament. But if you
need them sooner, you can just email us.
Yeah, that's fine. Or you can just pay attention while you're playing in the tournament. That's another way to do it too. You can
stay and watch till the end like Mark and I do.
Yeah. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonThat.com, and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. Well, you know what that means. It's voicemail time. First up is our good friend Bert.
Mark, Dr. Mike, it's Bert from Virginia again. Just want to give you a quick trip report. I was out in California working with a nonprofit, and I realized that where we were in Redlands, we were only about 20 minutes from Yaamava. So having heard about the casino from you guys and from some other podcasts and YouTube channels, it was too close to not go check it out. So I took an Uber over, and it was about 2:30 in the morning on a Saturday night, and the place was pretty crowded. Nice casino, 2 levels, pretty big. Reminded me of a giant locals casino, but the crowd was packed in there. Everything was pretty nice. So, of course, I'm walking in looking for the famous California card craps, and I'm walking around both levels, and I can't find it. So, apparently, Yaamava doesn't have craps. I don't know how that's possible. I thought they did. And if they did, I wasn't able to find it walking around for about an hour looking for it. I found everything else. I found card roulette, some other table games, but was not able to find card craps. So not sure if you guys know if they have had it, will ever have it. Not sure. I did get on the blackjack table. It was just me and the dealer playing. It was like $25 table, so I don't play a lot of blackjack, but I was looking for something to do, something different. So me and the dealer are having a good time, going back and forth, chatting it up. And here comes 3 people to come and sit around us at the table. The next hand in, apparently I hit when I shouldn't have hit or held when I should have hit. I'm not sure. But all 3 players throw their hands up and storm away. And it reminded me why I hate playing that game. It's not the game, it's the other players. They're some of the most miserable people. But overall, I had a good time. I didn't win anything. Got to play a little bit of card roulette. Got to play some video poker. But overall, it was a good trip. I'm glad I got a chance to check it out. I don't get out to California much, so it was great to get into a casino I had never been to. So hope you guys are doing well. Talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, Bert. Yeah, a lot of people share your feelings on blackjack. It's not the game, it's the people, and shoot.
That's why I don't play much.
Yeah. It really is a shame.
We used to play some blackjack fairly often, right?
Well, it seemed like in the old days we would take over a table.
Yeah,
right? So all of us would be on one table, and we all knew basic strategy. And even if one of us deviated from it, it's like big deal, right? Because we know in the long run it doesn't matter. But yeah, that is too bad.
There's two kinds of blackjack players.
Yes.
There's the miserable one, and then there's the guy who tells you he never loses.
That's the
Those
only
are the two kind. Those are the only two I've ever found. Right? They're just sitting there miserable as heck, or they're talking to you about how they never lose and how they're making so much money at the game and blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, oh yeah, I don't, that's why you're here every day.
Which one are you, Dr. Mike?
I'm the guy that goes and plays craps.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. You're not.
I'm neither of those. I walk straight to the craps table.
Yeah, Bert, no craps at Yaamava. They used to have it, and then after the pandemic, they just got rid of it.
They only had one table.
The only one table. It wasn't very popular. It was an odd way that they did cards. It's not the typical way. I think we talked about it in a previous episode. I won't go into the details, but if you bet the don't, you had a slight edge on certain points by taking max odds. Not enough to make a lot of money on it. And certainly nobody when we were there was doing it. But it was not mathematically true crap. So it was kind of interesting. But yeah, it's completely gone. I don't know. They may have bubble craps or
it wasn't,
something.
Yeah, it wasn't the correct odds.
Yeah. So, yep, nothing at Yaamava.
It's a big, huge casino.
It is
it's almost too big.
It's a nice casino, but it is crowded. I remember when we went and your brother said, "Oh yeah, it's not too crowded tonight." And we're thinking, "Are you insane? It's packed."
It was like wall-to-wall people. He's like, "Oh no, it's usually much busier than this." I'm like, "Well, that's why I'm not coming back." I mean, it was packed.
Yeah.
Other thing I wanted to mention to Bert, next summer, sometime, I'm not sure when, we were going to do another road trip, and we were going to go up through New England, and I want to go to Maine, but then we might come down to Virginia, West Virginia, because West Virginia is one of the states that me, my wife, and my mother-in-law have never been in.
Yes.
So we're definitely going to come down there, and when that time comes, I expect to see Bert at one of the Virginia casinos.
Okay. All right. Caesars, Virginia, the brick and mortar building, that'll probably be ready to go too next year. I think it's supposed to open at the beginning of this year. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. Great. Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll have to check it out.
Yeah. All right. Next call.
Hello, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Nathaniel from North Carolina giving you a call back on my trip from San Diego and Las Vegas. Actually, I started out in Harrah's Cherokee. I had some free play and some foods. That was okay. They have 8 craps tables there, pretty much from $15 to $100 limit. Dr. Mike will be proud of me. I had leftover food credits, so I got some Skittles and Mountain Dew, which I think that goes good together also. Then we flew out to Vegas, stayed at Planet Hollywood. I didn't really play much there. I was more wanting to go around to all the casinos, and the day and a half we was there, went to all the casinos on the Strip except the Stratosphere, the Strat, Circus, and Treasure Island.
Wow.
And then we went to Ellis Island, never been there. I could see why locals like that. And then went to Tuscany, and then we tried the Durango, the new one. That's very nice. But I really like Fontainebleau. Next time I go back just to Vegas, I plan on really playing there more. Then we went to Laughlin. Laughlin hadn't been there in 20 years. I was disappointed in it because it was so kind of crowded, but the rules were still good. $10 craps, $10 blackjack, 3-2. So that's good for the gambler. Then we worked our way across Joshua Tree to Palm Springs. And then we stopped, I believe, Fantasy Springs and a couple of the Aqua, I can't even think of the name, play butchering some of these names. And they were very nice. Got chips. And then we worked our way down to Pachinga, Pala, Coachella, stayed at Harrah's. And tell you, I really enjoyed Harrah's. So I had to play craps one time and do the California style. And dealers were very good. $10 table at the time. Then we worked our way to San Diego. We went to Torrey Pines. And thanks for the recommendations about that National Monument overlooking Bay. That was really nice. And then we went to the casinos around there. I believe it was Jamal, Saquon, Vihas, and Verona. Verona was my favorite. I really liked Verona. Played craps there, $10, 5 times odds. Great crew. I actually walked away up $16, and I tipped the dealers $16. but it was a good experience, and I can see why San Diego is just a great place, great weather, it's a clean city, drove to the downtown city where the Padres play, and Dr. Mike, I've seen nudity out there. Some woman was walking around with her shorts pulled down. I guess she was just airing out in a tank top. She was just airing out. So that was a little different. Then the next morning we worked our way out and went to Saboba. I really like Saboba. And then we went to Yaamava. This was a Monday at like 12 o'clock. That place is a monster. And it was packed. Signed up everywhere, got cards and a little free play, got chips. And I think I got 21 new chips. Most of them from California casinos. Then we worked our way back into Vegas. Oh, stopped by and seen the thermometer on the way, and then stopped at Rio since they was redoing it. And then went to Palms and had buffet, and that was it for the trip. And Vegas is Vegas. Everywhere around, people have casinos to play close to them. Better rules than Vegas, especially on the Strip, but it's just something about Vegas. But I appreciate it, and hopefully I will get to throw dice with y'all in the Harris Cherokee sometimes. Goodbye.
Wow. That's so much crammed in. You went everywhere. Holy
He's
cow.
my hero.
Wow.
Daniel's my hero now.
Jeez.
That is quite a trip. My brother loves Saboba. Yeah, he really likes that place.
Yeah.
He goes to Yaamava a lot, but he likes Saboba. Yeah, and people in San Diego, sometimes you just got to air it out.
Probably thinking to people, what is he talking about? Longtime listeners will know that Dr. Mike is exposed to a lot of nudity, especially when he goes to gambling places. He doesn't seek it out. He doesn't ask to see it. He's just exposed to it.
It just attracts me.
And then people who aren't familiar, also on the drive from Southern California to Las Vegas, there's a small town called Baker that has the world's tallest thermometer. And so that's a little bit
something to see. And then you got to go to the Mad Greek or
the
name of
Baker.
that place there. Yeah. Yeah. That's something to see too. That's two reasons to go to Baker. And there are no other reasons.
Gateway to Death Valley. So that kind of tells you.
Gateway to Death Valley.
Like amazing.
I like that he went to all the Palm Springs casinos, Agua Caliente, and that's quite a trip.
Yeah.
I'm sure he enjoyed San Diego. I mean,
it sounds like
San Diego is a great place, and I'm proud to say I was, born there and lived there for a long time. It's one of the better places in the world to live.
Yeah, I think people agree.
Right after Caledonia, Minnesota.
Yeah, people. It's too crowded there now. I don't like going to Caledonia anymore.
Yeah, I think we're over 2,800 people now.
I don't need that. All right, next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Jason from North Carolina, giving you guys a little trip report on my first trip to a casino in the state of Virginia. And that was, of course, the Sears Virginia Casino, which is getting near completion. The outside looks great, and just in the interiors now of the hard casino, so getting close to that fourth quarter opening. But little trip report, I did some blackjack first off. There wasn't unfortunately, any blackjack that was 3-2 unless your minimum was 25. All the $15 ones were 6-5, fortunately. Found a nice table, had met some cool friends, didn't do too well, had some good hands, but some tough breaks by dealers, somehow getting 21, of course. Then I just did some slots where I made some of it back, had 3 nice wins in a row, so I got back about $50 of the 80 that I spent in blackjack. And then, of course, I had to do some craps. This is my first time ever playing craps. And the table that I wanted, actually went down in minimums later tonight. It was a Tuesday night I went there. Because it was 25, I think, because there was one guy who probably might have reserved that table, so it was 25. And the only other table they had open for craps was a crapless one at 15. But I'm glad that the regular craps went down to 15 later on in the night. So, get my first roll shot, and I had 3 points. And I did a pass one, and then I did a don't pass. That don't pass didn't win, so I hit. Of course, they didn't pay the point when I did don't pass and their pass. So made a little money there too. So it was a very fun experience. And then of course got my first rating on craps too. So that was nice. And it was a great time in Virginia, and I hope to be back once the new one is done. You guys are doing great stuff on the show. Can't wait to hear more episodes. Thanks. Bye.
All right, there you go. Caesars, Virginia. He's just talking about the temporary tented location out front. So that should be opening this year.
Yeah. Now, what exact city is that in?
Danville, Virginia.
Danville, Virginia. Okay. Yeah, that can't be very far from the National Harbor.
MGM National Harbor, it's like 4.5 hours away.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought maybe they were closer.
No.
Oh, okay. So they're on opposite sides of the state.
All right, next call.
Hey guys, Nathan from Sacramento. Just giving you a quick call about a recent Vegas trip. We went for my daughter's 21st birthday. One thing, we did go to the new Pop Stroke, the mini golf place by Tiger Woods, and it was actually really nice, but it did cost me $400 for 9 of us. So their thing was, they said, oh, you can play all day till midnight. I was like, well, it's 115. I only want to play once and get back inside somewhere. But anyhow, it was fun, especially if you're a golfer, because it's more like real putting greens than the traditional mini golf style. But also, I give Dr. Mike permission to say I failed as a parent, because I know how he says you got to start them young. But as I said, my daughter's 21, so after the golf, I went to take a nap, and they had gone shopping, and then I guess they all came back to our room because we had a big table, and my daughter wanted to practice some blackjack. So as I'm soundly sleeping, I hear, no head, no head, no head, bust. And I wake up, and I said, what are you guys doing? And she said, oh, we're practicing blackjack. And I said, what do you mean no head? She says, well, the cards that have heads on them are tens. I don't want to go over. I said, oh, my goodness. I said, don't call it that. I said, call it a picture, a paint, a monkey, face card, anything but head. So it gets worse. We did go to the crap table. Then when it was her turn to shoot, she proceeded to hit the box man 3 times in a row in the groin. But he was standing up, and she couldn't get him down the middle of the table. Everybody was a good sport, but I wanted to crawl under a rock. But anyhow, thanks, guys. Hope everything's great.
All right.
Yeah, that's good.
Thanks, Nathan.
Yeah, the people in the next room, they're just hearing, no head, no head.
What?
What's going on over there?
Don't feel bad, Nathan. She'll figure it out.
She'll get pace card down eventually, yeah. Hey, a year from now, she'll probably be a veteran.
Exactly. All right, one last call from our buddy Kevin.
Hey, fellas. Kevin from Wisconsin with a couple things. First, after listening to you guys a couple weeks ago about good dealers and hearing about the Frankenstein Casino in Crab Vegas, I want to offer what I would call some nearly absolute necessities that the two of you can add to the casino you're going to eventually build. 1, I like natural lighting. No dark, dank caves are necessary for a fun atmosphere. 2, music, obviously. Something between the elevator music and circa. It adds a nice ambiance when the volume's right. 3, double the number of cocktail servers. Why not? Make them compete for tips. I like them, but having to throw an extra $20 for a tip just so they don't ignore me is bogus. 4, please don't make a sports book a boring modular back room you've obviously tacked onto your banks of slot machines. One of the great things I think about Diamond Joe Worth is that the sports book opens up into the casino. That's cool. It's part of the gambling experience, and watching a game while you're gambling can be a fun side attraction. 5, depending on local ordinances, keep lounges open 24 hours if possible. Shutting them down ruins the vibe. That's one of the things that makes Mandalay Bay still relevant. 6, space. The downtown casinos in Vegas are so packed with machines you either can't get through or need to bother someone to get a walkway. Not cool. I realize it's tricky because too much space can let the energy out of the room. 7, of course, regarding dealers. If they make inside jokes or spend more time talking with each other than engaging players, just fire them or find jobs for them that don't face the public. It's kind of brutal sometimes at Diamond Joe and Dubuque. 8, kiosks all need to dispense $100 bills and the coin change. There's a casino on the Strip in Vegas that gave me $200 in 20s and then kicked out a ticket to make me get the extra 20 cents. Really? Second thing, a quick trip report. I had a business jaunt in Vegas a couple weeks ago, stayed at Caesars. Nice place, good atmosphere, average dealers, high limits. However, they struggle with the service. App check-in was down, so I sat in line for an hour. Unannounced, maintenance came in during one afternoon to change locks on the hotel room doors, which required a run back down to the front desk for replacement keys. Service for internet and TV was spotty. And worst of all, I got smacked in the casino. I think you guys hold 7 stars there, but I lost $1,500 in 3 weekdays, and I'm only showing 1,700 points and 400 tier credits. Kind of tells you how my luck runs. Anyway, it's still Vegas, and I still love it. Keep up the good work. Talk to you soon.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Kevin. Mike and I, we're no longer 7 stars. We did hit diamond again, though, this year, thanks to, I think, playing crapless at a lot of Caesars
just because we haven't
but,
been going to Caesars properties. I'm a diamond elite. I might get 7 stars.
Oh, wow. That'd be great.
After this trip. Yeah, I was close.
Yeah, what a terrible experience at Caesars. We're actually hearing a lot of stories about long check-in times at Las Vegas properties.
Yeah, I didn't mention this, but when we got there, we walked in the door there, and it was just a ton of people waiting to check in.
Yeah.
That's on like Wednesday. And then the next morning when we went to check out, it was even worse. Oh my God. The lines were just horrific.
Yeah,
I mean, just unbelievable. Luckily, as soon as I saw the lines, I thought, well, I'm just going to go into the 7 stars. And they have a 7 stars and they have a diamond check-in.
Yeah.
I went there, nobody in line. I just checked in and it was fine. But what is going on with that?
Yeah, what is going on? Well,
especially checkout. I don't understand checkout. Thursday morning, just tons of people. Wouldn't people just check out on the
You'd
TV
think in most cases,
or...
they wouldn't need to stand in line to check out, but you never know.
You can just drop your keys off. I don't know if, that was just regular checkout people. I can't imagine they'd be contacting a host to get something written off, or I don't know. Anyway, it's just, that was outrageous.
Well, what do you think of Kevin's suggestions for casinos?
I love natural lighting.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be great if every casino could have some light in there.
Yeah.
Music, I agree with him.
Okay.
It has to be the right kind of music and not overly loud where you can't even hear yourself think.
Right. It shouldn't be calling attention to itself.
Right. It needs to be like, oh, yeah, this song. Yeah, I like this song.
Mm-hmm.
Not, oh my God, this is hurting my ears.
Yeah.
Increasing cocktail servers, I think, is one of the biggest problems every casino has. And I don't know why that is. And it's so funny that we're talking about this today because just last night at Diamond Joe Worth, one of the players and I, he's a regular there, he was talking about the cocktail servers. Now, we had a pretty good one last night, but most nights it's like, they come by and then you don't see them for like an hour.
Yeah.
Or you don't see them at all during the day. And he was saying, he said, we all tip. And these guys could probably make $100,000 a year if they just hustled around and got everyone drinks and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, the casino could just hire more. I mean, I think for a young person, going to school or something, that's a perfect job. Work like 3 days a week, make quite a bit of money in tips.
I don't know the details of being able to hire people
sports book. I do like it when it's connected to the casino and it's easy to get to.
Yeah.
Some of the ones you've seen in Vegas where you have to go upstairs.
Oh, yeah. Remember Bally's? It used to be way in the back, right? Do you have a sports book? Yeah.
Yeah, it's way back there. That's not fun. Lounges, 24 hours. That's okay. But I would say maybe they close like from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. or 7 a.m., something like that. I don't know.
It's hard to say. I mean, you and I aren't really the target here, but Vegas at least is a 24-hour town, so.
Yeah. Well, and also I think again it comes down to staffing. I mean, getting people.
That's the big thing, right? Who wants to work from 3 to 5?
5, yeah, right. Make casinos less cramped. That should be a law. That's not a Kevin rule. That should be a law.
And again, it depends on how much, space you have to work with.
I know, but there is such a thing as a fire marshal code. I mean, some of those places, he's right. You can't walk down an aisle because, all the chairs are pushed together and stuff. Dealers need to engage more. That should be something that the casino should look at and really monitor more, because the friendlier their dealers are to the clientele, the more likely the clientele is.
Yeah, it's in their best interest.
Come back. And it's in the dealer's best interest to get more tips.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to tip you if you're sitting there talking about, the break schedule or something amongst yourselves.
Yeah.
And cash out machines dispense $100 bills and coins. Yes.
I've never actually come across one that did not dispense $100 bills. That one is new to me.
Well, I did come across some that they gave you 20s.
Really?
Now, I always assumed that, the hundreds were out.
Yeah,
right?
but that
But, you know,
They
when you get
shouldn't run out, yeah.
$300 all in 20s,
Yeah.
that's kind of odd. And yeah, the coin thing, that is a big issue.
You shouldn't have to go to the cashier to get coins.
But, you know, we live in a changing world. Because I remember as a kid, now you check me on this, Mark, was it a known law that a business had to accept American currency?
Yeah, you've heard that a million times. That's a common myth. There's no federal law saying that a business, or anyone for that matter, has to accept cash for goods and services. There's on our currency here, let me get a bill out so I'm getting the wording right here. So I'm looking at a dollar bill here. It says, this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. And I think that phrase kind of perpetuates the myth. People are thinking that's what it means, is you have to accept that. No, that's not what that's saying. So
just kind of pisses me off. You know, why have cash then? I mean, I know there's a lot of people who want to go to just cards and stuff, but I like cash.
I mean, I do too. For using the casino, I definitely like cash.
Yeah, I definitely like cash. I mean, let's say in a casino, if there was no cash and it was just a card that you could use, I think people would get in a lot more trouble.
Possibly. Yeah, it depends on what the card could do. If it's a credit card, yes. If it's some sort of debit card, maybe not even from your bank, but a debit card that you've set up with the casino, you could still get in trouble, but at least, not as bad as a credit card.
With cash, it's like, well, I'm out of cash. I'm done.
Yeah.
Right? Go home.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, those are topics for another thing, but I do like all his suggestions.
Yep.
So.
All right. Well, we should probably wrap it up. We want to thank some people for some recurring donations. From Nathan, from the International Brotherhood of Gobbling Donkeys, from Brian Dancer, and from Brian and Sarah. Thank you very much for those recurring donations. We also got a donation from Jim from New York. He said a PayPal donation for the podcast and the school kids in Minnesota. At approximately 2 a.m., Dr. Mike came out on a 6 and promptly made his point right back at Caesars Palace, Las Vegas. So half the donations for the show, half for the school kids in Caledonia. Keep up the great work, gentlemen. Well, thank you very much, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
And also a donation from listener Jeff. Hey guys, enjoy the podcast. Been listening for a few years now and enjoy the content, humor, and interesting topics. Well, thank you very much, Jeff. Hey, at the top of our webpage, you'll find a link to our store where you can buy You Can Bet On That merchandise. Also, you can find a list of all the gambling-related shows coming up on American television at youcanbetonThat.com/TV-listings. And we've got a list of gambling-related movies at youcanbetonThat.com/movies. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. We're also on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat and on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. All right, Dr. Mike, what do you got for us?
Well, I got three things, Mark. Number one, I want to say to John, who came to see me in St. Louis, email us or call in and let me know what happened. I didn't find you afterwards.
You didn't see him afterwards? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I'd like to know what happened, where he went, and how things turned out for him that night. Secondly, staying on the same kind of topic, one of the great things about this podcast, Mark, is how many people we've met.
Yeah, it is great.
And they're all, super nice, like Jim, for instance, Jim from New York. I mean, what a guy. He's just a great guy. And there's just so many of them. I mean, I can't really name them all off. If I could, we'd have a really long show because there's just so many great people that hang out with us, talk with us and everything. Yeah. So everywhere I go, I just meet more and more nice people. I love that. Because, me, I'm kind of shy, but once, someone starts
it's funny because, you think Dr. Mike's shy. Well, I know what you mean. An introvert in some ways, but get him talking and it's like he won't shut up.
Yeah, you can't get him to shut up. But driving across the country, I want to say this. I know I've said this before, but everyone should do that.
Yeah.
Get in your car, drive across the country. And when you go places, just talk to people. I mean, you meet some of the most fascinating, interesting people. And a lot of it is you start to realize how much we all have in common.
Yeah.
Whether you're living in Minnesota, California, Texas, wherever you're living, we all have the same issues and stuff and pretty much the same feeling. I wish people could experience that more, get out and see the country, see the people, and not just, drive on the highways or fly places. I mean, I know sometimes we have to fly. It's a time thing. But if you have the time, driving is wonderful.
Yeah, good advice.
And I'll tell you a quick story. So you know how things always seem to happen to me. We're in Graceland, and you sign up for a certain time to go on your tour. In our group is this lady from Japan, all by herself.
Mm-hmm.
She was confused about something right away, and Lynn helped her out. That woman followed us, Mark, for 6 hours. We never got her name. She never left my side. She was right next to me after the tour of the house. And then we went to the museum. She went all around with us. And then after we were through with all that, we went to the gift shop. Lynn went in. She followed Lynn all through the gift shop. She was nice and everything, but it's like she attached to us. And that's what you get when you drive around. You just meet people like that. It just always seems to happen to me. Lynn said, well, it's happening to you again. I'm like, yep. Anyway, so yeah, that's my advice. Get out, see the country, have some fun.
All right, very good. Good advice. All right, well, we hope we see you at the poker tournament. Thanks for listening.
Good night.
Okay, let's thin this herd. Untucked shirt, no thank you. Born in San Diego, yikes.
An adult named Todd?
So, this is what online dating is like?